a new lecture and a completely new approach. In this one, what I want to do is to first select my entire data set and then go to insert and then insert a table. Now the table will convert my data set into an organized and related data set. So it says, does my table have headers? Which it does. Where is the data for the table? It is from B3 to E13, but remember, because we are using VLOOKUP, we can't choose column number B. So we have to choose only from C3 till E30. We press OK. And if you notice, we have left out column B. We have only incorporated column C, D, and E in our table. At the top, a new tab opens up called the table design. And on the left side, you can see that there is a table name option. So I can just call this my underscore table. Again, let's see what we do. If I write equal to VLOOKUP, G4 is our lookup value like earlier. Now this is where things become a little different. When it asks us for the table array, earlier we were either giving C3 E13 or we were giving it C:E, right? This time is going to be very, very different. I'm simply going to write my underscore table. Now this is a little bit like giving a range reference like we did in the previous lecture, but this is even better and you will see in a moment why it is better. So I'm selecting the entire table array. My column index number is going to be 3 and the type of lookup is going to be exact match. As you can see, when we copy this formula down, it works perfectly. Now, you might be wondering that we have only chosen C4 till E13, right? Now, what happens when another customer ID is added to the dataset? So let me just add a name. Let me add my own name. So I say Havish M. Now see what happens. When I click on the last record of my table and I press tab, it allows me to add a new name. So I'm writing Havish. Let me choose the same segment consumer and let me add 100. Now you notice that the formula doesn't seem to get updated. The reason is because the name is not matching. So let me just quickly fix that. Let me make this Havish M and you notice, voila, the formula is working. Now this is brilliant, right? This means that once you have created a table, despite the fact that you have not chosen the entire column, so remember we did not choose C, D, and E, because a table is a dynamic data set, that means that as and how more records are added, for example, right now I've added 3 new records. In any case, the entire records is part of my table. The formula doesn't need to change. If you notice carefully, my table is now very smartly selecting from C4 all the way up till E17. Now this is one of the best approaches because unlike earlier where needlessly we had to choose the entire column, this time we are only choosing the specific number of rows where we have a data set. So we're not needlessly choosing the entire column. Now do remember that creating a table will also have some other impact on your other formulas. For example, now when I say equal to and I select E12, it will not say E12, it will say my table @sales because we're choosing a value on the same row. If I choose a different row, then it will work perfectly. But if I choose the same row, then it will work like this. Now teaching you how tables work is a little bit outside the scope of this particular course. But in case you're interested, you can look at one of my other courses, or maybe you can just do a Google search and see how tables work on Excel. But please don't do this blindly. Please remember, this is very important. When you convert a dataset into a table, it has a lot of other impact on your dataset. For example, when I say equal to sum and I select the entire column, you notice it doesn't say E4 colon E17. It selects my table and then in bracket sales. Are tables handy? Absolutely. Are tables better than working regularly with normal cell references? 100%. Should you use it all the time? Absolutely not. Now, the reason I'm asking you not to use it despite the advantages is very simple because very few users of Excel are comfortable working with tables. And that's just because of lack of exposure and experience. It's not particularly difficult to work with it. It's just that this is a new topic for a lot of people. And that's the reason, if you don't want to confuse the other people, make sure to not work with tables unless and until you're confident that the other stakeholders with whom you're sharing the files will not have a problem working with them.